So we have some updates regarding the Bplay situation that honestly, in my opinion, are pretty concerning. And the stuff we're going to be discussing in this video range from Bplay's allegedly permanently quitting the internet to the complete opposite of the pendulum, where people are saying that she's actually come back under a different name. There's a lot to go over, and unfortunately there's some innocent people being brought into the situation. And so I want to take a second to kind of just clear this up for everybody on the internet, because obviously it's not fair that innocent people are being targeted by the harassment. Now, anytime I make a video talking about any sort of internet personality, and maybe my video isn't super positive, I always get comments, "Oh my god, Pommy, you're such a hater, you're just jealous, blah, 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 blah." And all I have to say to that is, babe, there's a difference between accountability and hatred. And somebody holding somebody else accountable is not inherently nasty or hateful. However, I do think it's an important thing to do, especially when people are in a position of power. And the intention of this video is not to direct further hate towards Bplays, however, just to bring light to stuff that has been happening. It just kind of explains some of the misinformation circulating that has been actively victimizing smaller creators, which in my opinion is really unfair. Also, I am sick. You can probably hear it in my voice. My throat hurts so bad. But regardless, we're going to get straight into it. So for those of you that don't know, there were some allegations that surfaced a couple months ago that Bplays had allegedly been talking to somebody who was not of age a couple years ago. Now, I want to be very clear, these are allegations, and there's a lot of people saying, oh, well, the fact that she disappeared off the internet tells me that they're true. And although maybe I can say, yeah, it doesn't make you look good if you get these allegations against you, and you make a statement, then all of a sudden you disappear off the internet when people don't really take your statement very well, it certainly doesn't make you look good. But I also want to clarify that, at the same time, there's probably a lot of hate and harassment that would be directed towards her. And so I don't think her inherently leaving the internet, or what we may think is her leaving the internet, directly means that she is culpable of what people are accusing her of, because at the same time, there's a lot of allegations going around, and some of those were inherently false, and it was pretty obvious because people who weren't involved were making up allegations. And so I am not really addressing the legitimacy of the allegations in this video because it's just not relevant to the situation. What we are going to be discussing is quite a few you guys have sent me screenshots of Bplays renaming herself to Trissy, I think is how you say this. And I, at first, didn't know if this is true or not, so I went to the Dressed Impress Discord server because I'm actually making a different video about Dressed Impress right now. And as I was scrolling up in the announcement channel, I found this, and it says Trissy, and it shows Bplay's profile picture. And it still says Bean as a tag on there. Now, obviously, I was confused because Bplays has never gone by Trissy, at least from my perspective, right? And then I saw this little exclamation yellow thing, and I asked ChatGPT, and it was like, oh, that's because they blocked you. So I got my fiance to go, and he said that he could he didn't have an exclamation point, but he also couldn't see the banner and stuff like that. And when I tried, I clicked the message button, it still let me potentially send a DM, which obviously I didn't do. But I don't know. Let me know if you see this too. Am I blocked? I don't think so, because I could send her a message, but who knows? I don't know. But regardless, a lot of people have been speculating that because Trissy, or Bplays, has changed their name to Trissy on Discord, that they're going to be trying to make a comeback. And I've also seen a lot of people saying that Trissy apparently has a new Twitch or something, and people are sending me screenshots of her streaming. I don't know. But before we get into all those allegations, I do want to quickly clarify that Trissy is apparently a variant of Beatrix, which was her, chosen name, I believe, for when she transitioned. And so her name was now Beatrix, and she went by B for short. And so Trissy is a kind of a nickname for that, I guess. I searched it up. This is what it showed me. And if you see the background, it's actually baby's eyes, kind of creepy. But it was on a baby naming website for the UK, and that's where I found this. So apparently it's not necessarily her rebranding. It's just a nickname for her original chosen name. Now, on top of that, I was like, okay, well, to see if I'm really banned, I guess I should go try and join her Discord server. And the Discord server is still on lockdown. It says invites are currently paused for the server. Please try again later. So, yeah, I'm not getting into that anytime soon. Now, on top of checking out the Discord server, I decided to do a deep dive into all of her other social media platforms, and I came across some stuff that, in my opinion, is a little bit concerning. The first thing is, if you go to her YouTube channel, the main place that people were kind of, trying to hold her accountable and were being, to be fair, pretty mean, was in her community tab, or the post section. And as you can see, that's gone. That's not here anymore. It has completely disappeared. This was here a couple weeks ago. It's no longer here. So I'm assuming because of the hate and harassment, she just took it down, which is her right. Regardless of somebody's allegations, I don't think people should be sending them hate comments or telling them to off themselves. I think that makes you a really bad person. So I do understand why that may have been taken down. Now, in that same wavelength, I decided, you know what, I'm going to check out all the other links, and one of which was the store, which this is a feature I guess you get on YouTube if you're like a certain size creator, and basically it allows you to link your channel to an e-commerce store where you can then sell like your merch. And when I went to her e-commerce store, I was surprised to see it was still up, and so I decided I was going to pick out a shirt and try to add it to my cart. And every time I did that, my shopping cart would not add the shirt. I went and tried other items as well. It wouldn't let me add them to my shopping cart. This is just a screenshot. But I was honestly super surprised, and I guess maybe she was receiving a bunch of troll orders or something, or people like, because if you guys know how e-commerce works, some platforms, if you order, they charge you like a fee every time you get an order, and so there's like a transaction fee, and then if that person cancels the order, you have to refund them, but you don't get the transaction fee back. So that's like a way for people to like maliciously basically charge a creator a bunch of money without making any profit. And I'm not quite sure. This looks like Merch for All. It's like the website, so I don't know what their terms are regarding that, but I'm wondering if she turned this off because maybe people were doing that, or maybe she just didn't want to sell them anymore. I don't quite know, but I'm a little bit confused as to why you'd still have it up on your channel if you don't intend on selling stuff, or if like it's disabled. So I don't know what's going on with that, but you can no longer buy Bplay merch. Now, on top of that, I went ahead to the links on the channel, and this is where it gets spicy. This is where it gets interesting. This first one, and I had this saved as a bookmark actually from when I did my whole deep dive. Bplay's Twitch is deleted. It's gone. When I clicked on it, it says, sorry, unless you've got a time machine, the content is unavailable. So the channel is no more. It's bye-bye. I checked all the links on her various YouTube channels because she actually has quite a few, and every single one where this was linked, it did not exist anymore. It was gone. And I also had it saved as a bookmark, of course, so even if she would have renamed it, it would have still brought me to the page, and it shows me that it doesn't exist. Maybe she renamed it to Trissy Plays, but I tried to search up Trissy and nothing came up, so I'm assuming that the Twitch is gone. Now, on top of that, her TikTok was also deleted, and she didn't have like an insignificant number of followers on TikTok. She actually had a pretty decent sized following on this platform, and when I clicked it, including on the bookmark that I had in my research document for my previous video, it is still deleted. So it says, couldn't find this account, looking for videos, try browsing, blah, blah, blah. And I also searched up Trissy Plays because that's like her new alias, wasn't there either. So I guess that's also deleted. Now, when I went over here to the Twitter page, this is where it was like pretty interesting to me because she had a Twitter linked in her YouTube, and this was on her vlog channel, which a lot of you guys pointed this out to me and I didn't realize, but when the whole thing happened, she like completely wiped and like cleansed all of her channels. Specifically, I think her vlog channel was the first to go, and feel free to remind me or like to clarify in the comments if I'm wrong, right? But from what I remember, her vlog channel was like the first one to get like fully wiped. And I would, speculate that's maybe because it was so personal. And if you're obviously being attacked for allegations, you don't want unnecessary personal information being available to people who maybe don't have the best intentions. And although, at the end of the day, I think we all have our opinions about people who have these types of allegations. However, it's important to remember that they are allegations. And personally, if there's allegations like this against like anybody else, it would make total sense in their situations if they were to remove personal information, because obviously people now have an incentive to come and try to harass you, and so that makes sense to me. But on one of her vlog channels, or like one of her channels, she had a link to a Twitter, and this Twitter links directly to this Twitter. Now, previously, when I was trying to find out like the whole background behind Bplays, and anytime I search Bplays, this account came up, and in the description says you're looking for Bplays Roblox. And so I'm not sure if this is like her spam account or something, but at first I thought, oh, it's just an impersonator. But then what made me think it wasn't an impersonator is because this account is directly linked to her YouTube vlog channel, right? And you could say, oh, well, it must have been when she changed her username to Trissy Plays, like it just automatically linked it to this other channel or this other Twitter account. However, this Twitter account has changed the username to @TrissyPlays, which is in correlation with Bplays changing her name to Trissy on a lot of accounts. And so I'm thinking maybe this is like a spam account. It also links her Instagram and stuff like that, and this account is linked on some other YouTube channels. So I'm honestly really confused. I guess maybe it was just like a spam account, but I always just assumed this was an impersonator. But her actual Twitter account is still protected. She made a statement on here couple months ago now, and then when the statement wasn't well received, she just completely privated the account, took off the profile picture, and was like, yeah, bye. Which, am I saying that's right? No, but at the end of the day, you have to do what you have to do to protect your mental health, and regardless of somebody's allegations, nobody deserves to be like getting threats sent to them and stuff like that. Like, I think that's just, it just makes you like a bad person. Then also like it allows the person who has these allegations against them to become a victim, which kind of discredits the whole situation. So don't be doing that. Now here's where it gets like really interesting to me. So on Bplay's LinkedIn, which we analyzed last video, which so many of you guys were like, oh my god, Pommy, you can't look at that. You're not allowed to look at that. That's like personal information. Babe, if somebody posts something publicly on the internet under the name that they have publicly shared on their YouTube channel with public information that they have shared previously, that's not private information. That's like me if I went and, or it's like, example, if Selena Gomez went and posted her address online, was like, come say hi guys, and then people showed up to her house and she starts calling the police. Well, you posted online, like what do you want from me? And so like, that's like what I don't understand. The situation was people are getting so upset. Babe, LinkedIn is a public profile. I don't know what you want from me. But she posted on LinkedIn that she was now doing like, she was a contractor for like UGC and brand relations, which I'm like, ooh, I don't know if I'd be doing brand relations after everything that happened, but you know, you do you. And we kind of discussed that in that video, and I realized today when I was doing my research, she has since changed it to being from one date to ending in October 2025. And some of you guys may think, oh, well, like that's still current, like it just turned November, maybe it hasn't updated. No, if you're still actively employed somewhere on LinkedIn and you have it in your like experience, it will say present. It won't say an end date. So that tells me that I guess maybe last month she made the choice to like retire from YouTube. I don't know. And personally, I was really surprised when I saw all of her social medias deleted. I understand, obviously, like if you're going through a lot of backlash to temporarily take things down, okay, fine. But to see that on her LinkedIn, and in accordance with that, all of her social media platforms, except for her YouTube, have basically been wiped, that to me indicates that maybe she is permanently leaving the internet. But the thing that makes me wonder, is this true or not? Is like, if you're leaving the internet forever, why would you change your display name? You know what I mean? Like, it just doesn't really make sense in my head. But who knows, maybe she just wants that to be her like nickname now, and she doesn't want to be associated with the Bplay situation. However, there has been a lot of people who are maybe on the internet and go by Trissy or Trisha has been one that I've seen, or Patricia, because Trissy is also a nickname for Patricia. And I've seen a lot of people, or like Trixie even, on YouTube who have channels like Trixie Plays or Patricia Plays or like stuff along those lines, right? I'm not naming the exact channels, but they've been receiving like a ton of comments of people being like, Bplays, I know it's you. Are you schizophrenic? Like, leave these people alone. And it's like, I understand you guys are like wanting to hold somebody accountable, but like actively like harassing people that really obviously aren't Bplays is like really weird. A lot of these channels too, like they use their voices and they sound like they're 12. And you guys are harassing them being like, Bplays. Whoa. At the end of the day, you know, Bplays is a grown woman. I think she has a pretty distinctive voice. Like, you could tell if it's Bplays or not. And not to say that people wouldn't use AI or voice changers or stuff like that. But when it's like a kid with the mic quality of like a McDonald's like speaker drive-through, like it's probably not Bplays. Hate to break that to you, it's probably not her. And I think it's just really problematic to be harassing little kids, being like, I know it's you. Bplays, don't hide from me. I'm like, whoa, guys. Go touch some grass, because I think you're scaring everybody, including me. I'm scared. So regardless, there's been a lot of rhetoric that maybe she has a new account, and some of you guys were sending me screenshots of her streaming, but now her Twitch is deleted, so I don't know. And the streaming screenshots were sent to me like a week ago. So maybe they're faked, I have no idea, but regardless, please stop harassing random people by like Trixie Plays or like Patricia Plays or like Trisha Plays. Regardless, it's not Bplays. Maybe like take a second and see, oh, these people have been posting since like 2018. It's probably not Bplays that's been doing like a double persona for like years now. It's probably just some random kid. So please be mindful when you're like harassing people thinking that they're Bplays. And regardless, I definitely don't think people should be harassing Bplays. At the end of the day, I think we all have a pretty common opinion on people with these sort of allegations, but it's important to remember that they are allegations. And my hope is that this stuff is being dealt with the proper authorities, and we haven't really heard much about it. And I understand that, you know, people might have the impression because she, quote, ran away from the internet, is like what a lot of people have been saying, that she's inherently guilty, which I would agree it doesn't necessarily look good when you have these allegations and then you make a statement and then you kind of just disappear off the face of the earth. I don't necessarily think that that's something that people like with a ton of evidence to confirm that they wouldn't be guilty would do, but that's just my opinion. I want to clarify that this is an opinion. However, you know, I definitely don't think that implies, you know, explicitly that she's guilty. I think there is maybe a chance that she just decided it was better to keep it offline, is maybe handling it with the proper authorities, because at the end of the day, although you guys may think so, she doesn't owe you an explanation and she doesn't owe you evidence. Allegations like this are obviously very serious and need to be handled properly with the proper authorities. And I do think maybe to a degree it could damage a case if she was like actively talking about it. So I can understand maybe that's why she decided to private everything. I don't know. But regardless, I do want to clarify that somebody disappearing off the internet doesn't inherently mean that they're guilty. Although, you know, it may look a little bit weird and you guys may be like, at the end of the day, that isn't, you know, a valid reason to assume somebody's guilty. But Regardless, let me know what you guys think about this in the comment section below. Did you guys realize her accounts are deleted? Because personally, I didn't. And I actually used to follow her on TikTok because I'd watch like the clips and stuff she would post, and it was like an old TikTok account that I just use on my desktop, like not the one I have on my phone. And I went to find it, and I went to my following, and she was just gone. And then when I searched her up, yeah, she's fully gone. So I don't know, but regardless, let me know what you guys think about this in the comment section below. And again, please stop harassing random Patricias. Not every Patricia that plays Roblox is Bplays. Please, leave them alone. But anyways, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye!